This is an SABC News presentation.
Kliptown holds a very special place in our country's history. It became a town a year before Soweto, and more importantly was the host of the Congress of the People in 1955. This gave rise to the Freedom Charter, which is a core document of our constitution. In there, our people's demands of freedom are enshrined. We returned to Kliptown 58 years after the Freedom Charter was adopted, as well as 20 years since the birth of our celebrated democracy.
Kliptown, it's a community which is so disadvantaged.
Majority abantwana aba like KYP they can abazali babo abasebenzi inkinga ya like Kliptown ukuthi lack of jobs.
Mr. Louis Brown, a Kliptown resident, was in attendance that day in June 1955.
Laba bantu abahlala la abana toilet, laba abana toilet, lapha kume khona le ntombazana abana toilet, nalo mnyango lo ubheke ngapha abana toilet. Nayi imizi embili lapha ayina toilet. Na umunye umuzi ngapha awuna toilet. Bonke basebenzisa le.
You can imagine the June of 1955 must have been a cold one, as all Junes in our country are. But this one must have been an optimistic one for the oppressed majority of Mzansi. Thousands of them from rural and urban areas had just sent in descriptives of the kind of Mzansi they'd like to live in.
Freedom Charter kusho lezinto le meeting baba ubambilelana ukuthi the people shall govern. Nokuthi lento besiyilindele kakhulu izindlu amanzi neelectricity lesingekho namhlanje.
Not to dwell too much on the past, but some of the promises and demands that were made are things like,
and it's very much neglected ngoba moyazi kubuhlungu man mawungagibela namastepisi lawa umalapha phezulu othobeka ngapha othobeka leso wethu inhliziyo yakho ebabuhlungu mo na umnumzana uMandela yena igama lakhe lithe iKliptown izawakhelwa qala amanzi itepe one isherwa more than 200 yabantu beka lapha sigibele khona manje lapha kwa lo muzi wonke lo lapha phansi kuya le emhlangeni kuya le eRoma laba bantu bonke bakha amanzi lapha so makuyi weekend kuyenziwa nema washing lapha uzawuma 2 hours umele ukokha amanzi kodwa icharter ethe zizawuba namanzi zizawuba ne-electricity zizawuba nezindlu.
I asked Mr. Brown if he felt they had been used for political gain.
Ngingayibeka kanjalo ukuthi lena kwakuyi-betrayal njela ukuthi at least sikholelwe kuko nangalama vote we-94 sibona ukuthi hayi lapha besivotela nje okuhlala khona lapha emkhukhweni bangakhulumi nge-Freedom Charter baze nenye ingqondo ngoba i-Freedom Charter bahlulekile kule nto elapha ku-Freedom Charter.
I asked him if anything had changed in Kliptown over the years.
Mina from 1966
And then the change from a Kliptown 1966 kuze kube namhlanje.
Ile parliament kuphela. Hayi ngale kwesiporo. Ayichange impilo yabantu. Impilo yakho kunzima ukuthi ichange man mawuhlala emkhukhwini. Uzawuchange kanjani? Uhluleka nokusithengela impahla yethu. Mawuyithenga izawumoshakala into sifana nama-fridge ngeke ube ne-fridge ngoba awuna-electricity. Kufanele ukuthi udlele ipokotini njengenkukhu. Mara makufika ikati esinjena kufanele ukuthi ugijime uyoregister. Next year ugijime uyovota. Uyovotela ukuthi lo muntu asuthe wena ubulawe indlala. That's all.
He also said that although they appreciated the monument, now known as Walter Sisulu Freedom Square, cosmetic changes won't hide the truth of the lives of the people of Kliptown.
Ndoda, le building le yodwa nje. Le building yodwa, asikhulumi ngapha ngama-hotel. Le building yodwa. Ikhoste malini. Ngabe yakhe amalukishi angakhi. Ama 4 room, hayi la ma-match box laba wayakhela. Ngaba bathathe bakhela abantu ngele mali esele bakhele ndawo ngoba siyayidinga le ndawo. Siyayithanda.
We returned with a wary Mr. Brown to his neighborhood where he showed us some of the conditions they live under.
I-toilet yiyo le izilule. Yini le. Yiyo i-toilet. And noma uyibona isejardini kanje. Laba bantu abahlala la abana toilet, laba abana toilet, lapha kume khona la ntombazana abana toilet, nalo mnyango lo ubeke ngapha abana toilet. Nayi imizi embili lapha ayina toilet. Na umunye umuzi ngapha awuna toilet. Bonke basebenzisa le. Ay more than 20 man.
The entire area of Kliptown has no proper sewage or sanitation system.
Lo mhlanga lo muzi wonke lo lapha phansi uphuza la. Kusuka la kuya le freeway bakhala. Kukhona few nyana mara kudele ngoba inye impompi ngapha ngasesiporweni. Mawuya ngasesiporweni. Igenke yalapho ekhalapho. Mara lo muzi wonke lo uphuza la.
We asked Mr. Brown to show us the inside of his house, which is one of the better ones in this neighborhood. It was built in 1966 using a mixture of corrugated iron, bricks and cement.
Ngibonisa ngokubonisa le ndawo lengibuza ukuthi indlu ngale indlela emenga ngakhona njengamanje. Kunetha izimvula. Kunemoya ongaka lendlu lesazoma ama-awara angaka kusukela namhlanje. Manje beke roof yakhona kuyanetha le ceiling le ingaba anytime. Lama wardrobe njengowabona anje amoshwe yilamanzi la angena phezulu.
With all political parties sharpening their rhetoric for this year's elections, I asked Mr. Brown if he'd return to the polls.
La angangifake ku voters roll le yabantu. Angenze le yam special. Ngivotela ithuna lam e-Avalon. Ngeke ngisaphuma la. Nabo ngeke basangitshela ukuthi hayi sizawuphuma amanga abo aphelile. Aphele nge-1 saka August bathe 1 saka August uzobona lesigangalisi kusabe kuqhuma ithuli la kusase 1 saka August namanje angisafuni next.
Kliptown is a relatively small community sandwiched between Eldorado Park and Soweto. Like all of our townships, regular social ills are at the top of the pecking order here.
In my community, there are lots of people. There's a high rate of HIV and AIDS. So that's why I've learned a lot with it.
Although the name Kliptown isn't synonymous with service delivery protests or riots, residents here complain of a gross lack of basic services.
Thina lapha emkhukhwini abantu like ababhuti like bayahamba bayotshontsha ugesi baboshwe bashe just for ukuthi slide yabo because iparafini iyadura for ukuthi sipheke ngeparafini. And then ugesi funa ukulayita ama TV ama battery ukuthi wayise ema battery center ayadura now. So abantu abaningi la eKliptown they can't afford.
55 years after the Freedom Charter adopted healthcare and housing as some of their main demands of freedom, there is still nowhere to be seen in Kliptown.
Housing, like housing, ama clinics they are so agude like ama kliniki abantu abaningi abogogo like they can't walk, they need transport ukuthi baye lapha ekliniki itrata zethu lana they are not proper, and then amanzi ugesi izinto ezipromisiwe nje azikho, just nje bapromisa ngamagama ukuthi kuzoba nento so into yakhona ingabi khona.
KYP or Kliptown Youth Program is a youth organization based in Kliptown dedicated to fighting poverty and other social ills facing the youth of Kliptown. Amanda Gashu is a fortunate recipient of their goodwill.
Majority abantwana aba like KYP like they can abazali babo abasebenzi inkinga ya like Kliptown ukuthi lack of jobs, and then so abanye abantu abakhona ukuafforda yabo izicathulo zesikolo amajezi wesikolo like iKYP njengoba beyingekho kuqala ne like abantwana abaningi mebasokola ba esikoleni bagodola ngewinter, so then ke kuthe makufika iKYP kwaba ne difference.
The Kliptown Born and Bred organization inspires the young of Kliptown to dream beyond their immediate poverty.
I'm dreaming big and I'm aiming high because of KYP is there for me. Mangathi manje like ngifuna ukufunda kuphi kuphi KYP izoba there ukuthi ingisiza ngithi ngiyofunda lapho ngifuna ukufunda khona, and then ngifunele scholarship nani. So kubi KYP bengekho bengengize ngibe nethemba lokuthi ngizokhona ukuphumelela empilweni njengoba si surround the community epoor.
I asked Amanda what she understood to be the relationship between Kliptown and the Freedom Charter.
I-charter beyenzelwe phezulu square, and then that's where Mandela nabo Walter Sisulu bale phezulu babhala badraw the Freedom Chart, and then iKliptown for mina bekumele ukuthi iyo like ephambili. So I think iKliptown is the most famous place and the most honored place by Abo Mandela nabo Walter.
KYP founding member and deputy director Utando agrees.
Even though it is so important in terms of history, but it's one of the worst communities on Ezagulo. It's not even an informal settlement, it's a squatter camp in fact. So unemployment rate, teenage pregnancy, HIV, AIDS, such things, I want that the poverty, we don't have anything informal.
But that didn't make them roll over and die. Instead,
we decided to go to no, let's find something as my hands, maybe a youth club or something. Our main focus as a KYP, we looked at our challenges that are realistic and now are faced by young people in the community. We're running an after-school program. Last night was assessed homework, mainly in English, math and science, extra tutorial. On yearly basis, we try and raise funds and we buy full school uniforms for our members. So we're working with 400 children from around the community, and we also look for other children as bona with low serious bunzima, and we try with lomtanalo some assisting.
Without any help from the government or the Freedom Charter or its architectural wonder, they've managed to send
about 21 to 23 students now who are in universities and colleges. We've got a fully functioning computer lab which is accessible to community. We give free computer classes and anyone can come and use our internet free of charge. The e-food program here too is fully functional. The kind of food that we provide, because for us it was important to go to Singati, we alleviating poverty. A piece of bread and soup once after 6 months or once in a lifetime, and we call that poverty alleviation. So the kind of food that we provide from Mondays through Saturdays, 2 meals per day, and the kids are here and they eat very nice meals.
Although KYP has remained unthanked or even recognized within our borders, they've made a mark in their community and the world over.
Some of the awards, it's like the CNN award, where Ikodikiamu Tulani Matondo was nominated to represent the organization. Out of 45,000 nominees from all over the world, we managed to make it to top 10. And currently, he was crowned just yesterday as a role model of the year by the Feather Awards. So such things, they always bring hope, because he's a normal young person from a Kliptown. He never get formal education like not in Joba Siganj. But those are some of the things, as it says, as Skumbuluguti. Of course, we are poor materialistically, but that doesn't mean that we can't think, we can't act, we can't do things by ourselves. Yeah.
I walk around the streets of Kliptown and you can smell the stench of hopelessness and neglect that rules here. Young men hang around with not much to do.
Kliptown indawo egrand ijudge ukuthi nje akunazindlu yabo abafuna ukusigaya izindlu ama-DP and abanye abantu basogola ngapha ugesi asinawo sebenzisa amaparafini namakhandlela
ukuthi la eKliptown sibale sibloma ngenye indlela nawe yabona khasana noma kubupha amanzi awekho ama-service nama-toilet wakhona msho ukuthi nokudlula iviki ungazange i-truck lokudraina, so-ke ngizontshela ukuthi hayi eKliptown bafethu siyasokola.
Shuthi manje hayi into engayisho ngeKliptown ukuthi hayi impilo ikhona. Ukuthi nje vele njengoba untwana bekasho ukuthi hayi into eyenzakalayo vele i-corruption ibhayi. Mara impilo ikhona nabantu baseKliptown bayenza something out of their living. Yabona la khona i-KYP la. Le program leyenzakala la abanye abafowethu abanye babuye eChina bazenzele. Shuthi manje so into ezokhala ngayo government.
Others pass time and scrap together money for a meal by playing a game of dice, while others play games reminiscent of far-away, long-forgotten homelands. The question remains, does it have to become another Kutong, Deep Slot or Pakistan until someone somewhere remembers the long-forgotten people of Kliptown?
Whether you look at Kliptown or in places like Dipsloot, in parts of Kailicha, in parts of Giani or Mlazi, there is this yawning gap between what the leaders constantly promise and claim to be drawing on the Freedom Charter and what people expect and where they exactly are. So there is this disconnect. There are pockets of good service delivery in parts of the country, and there are people who have seen this change happening, but in large measure, we are nowhere near where we expected to be over 2 decades of democracy.
There are still 10 informal settlements within Kliptown, and given the role that Kliptown has played in the history, shaping the history of the country, you would want it to be a better place and a good place where it has little or no existence of informal settlements. So, but we are grappling with the Kliptown situation. The mayor has directed us to finding a solution for Kliptown.
Political analyst and author Mzukusi Qobo says that there is a gap between what is enshrined in the Freedom Charter and what confronts the millions of our country.
A number of people are still, they are dejected, there are no jobs, they're looking for employment that they cannot find. The public health system is still shambolic.
According to Qobo, this is one of the causes of the many violent protests we are seeing more and more often.
This began to take a violent turn, spilling over to what many have called xenophobic attacks. We do see levels of disaffection there in the form of public service delivery. And most recently, the booing of President Jacob Zuma at the First National Bank Stadium in Johannesburg at Mandela's Memorial was a tipping point, or was a step closer to the tipping point in the expression of anger. Many ministers, when they go to townships, to visit townships, they have a host of bodyguards, which suggests that they are scared of the people that they claim to be safe.
I'm not sure what Qobo uses for his analysis, but me, I've been with the communities on the ground. And there's no way where they've said to me, we are fighting with you in such an extent that we are not going to vote for you. They are fighting with us because they want to hold us accountable for the commitments that we've made to them.
Qobo believes this distance will cost the ANC at the polls.
The voters will be very keen and very edgy to send a strong message at the ANC leadership to give it a wake-up call. And I certainly do not imagine that the ANC would notch the kind of gains that it achieved in previous years.
I've responded to protests in Joburg, and I have spoken to people. And people are saying, we want you to hear us. We want the ANC to hear us. We want to talk to the ANC. Avenues for communication couldn't be maybe available to them, but it's not a sign that says we are not going to vote for the ANC.
According to Qobo, the ANC focuses too much on inter-tripartite alliance relations, which leads them to neglect the voter.
The African National Congress have lost the capacity to be embarrassed, its political conscience is almost as if it is seared by hot iron, because it takes time to respond, and it seems to care most about the dynamics within the tripartite alliance, what COSA to say or what the South African Communist Party say, more than what the citizens of this country, the people of this country say.
He's talking about a different ANC. The ANC is about the people. So the alliances needs to grow and needs to work, but equally so the ANC has a responsibility to ensure that the better life that we spoke about for the people is being realized. That is why there is local government that is focusing on the needs of the community.
However, the dynamics of the poorest and most vulnerable in our society remain unbearable.
Landa was clearly going. There's no life in that place.
If you've got a skill in finance, come and give us that skill. If you've got a skill in marketing, come and share that skill. If you've got a skill in the camera, come and give us that skill. For us, we will take it somewhere. So what I'm trying to say, Guti, even coming and all that stuff, people can come and volunteer, and some people can contribute in a form of toys for kids, old clothes as well, monetary. If you can we always need that.
Noma i-community yethu like uyayabo ukuthi izinto zakhona azikho right and sihlala emkhukhwini, mara ukuthi umkhukhu akusiyinto engadetermine i-future yethu. Thina nje kumele ukuthi sibheke phambili ukuthi siphume emkhukhwini, akumele ngasibheke abazali ukuthi abazali bahlale emkhukhwini, nathi kumele sithola abantwana bahlale emkhukhwini.
Brought to you by SABC News, Africa's news leader.